If Kevin Durant thinks the Suns have embarrassed themselves recently, KD hasn't seen anything yet. Already facing the NBA's murkiest future, Phoenix's outlook somehow got even grimmer. No team in pro sports is facing a darker timeline than the Suns. You might remember me from such episodes as 2023's Why Bradley Beal is not the answer for the Suns, or 2024's How Trading for Beal burned the Suns. Well, I'm back in 2025, not just to say I told you so, though I did tell you so, but to document the depths to which Phoenix has fallen. Now let me be clear, I'm no Beal hater. He's a terrific scoring guard whose shot creation abilities could help plenty of contenders. But Beal was so clearly not what the Suns needed. Completing a big three of skill overlap and diminishing returns that simultaneously gutted Phoenix of the assets required to plug the actual holes around Durant and Devin Booker. Remember too that the Suns made that deal for Beal, who carried a no-trade clause. The same week, the NBA and the Players Association were ratifying a new collective bargaining agreement that included the more punitive tax and apron penalties now dooming the franchise. But back to the present. Ahead of this year's deadline, Phoenix traded 3 second-round draft picks for Nick Richards. Then, in an effort to increase its pick supply, traded an unprotected 2031 first-rounder for 3 lesser firsts. The Suns hoped Beal would waive his no-trade clause to facilitate a deal for Jimmy Butler, then moved on to the possibility of replacing Durant with Butler, and even came close to sending KD back to Golden State. But in the end, the Suns didn't use any of those picks to get better. In fact, Phoenix moved a first-rounder to get off of Jusuf Nurkic's contract. If you're keeping track at home, that means the only draft capital this aging 11th place team has over the next 7 years is a collection of pick swaps in which the Suns will always receive the worst pick. The most expensive roster in NBA history is currently a losing team on track to miss the West's play-in tournament, facing the league's toughest remaining schedule. Durant was right about the Suns embarrassing themselves, but he was wrong when he said the team didn't play up to its standards in a recent home loss to the Timberwolves. It's become painfully clear this is the standard in Phoenix. The Suns are just an average-ass team that happens to have some really big names.
It's hurtful.
Truthful.
The bigger picture concern is that the Suns don't control any of their own picks, first or second round, until 2032. And even their first rounder that year could be frozen soon if Phoenix doesn't get under the second apron. Meanwhile, Beal still has a no-trade clause, and KD, who's extension eligible this summer, knows the team tried to trade him. It's a full-blown dumpster fire, and in the short term, all that's left to do is watch this recklessly assembled team burn. The long-term plan should begin in earnest this summer, with the obvious steps being once again asking Beal to waive his no-trade clause, and then finding the best return for Durant. But as great as KD still is, he'll also be 37 when next season tips off, and his contract status does give him some leverage. This won't be the league-wide bidding war we've seen for Durant in years past, including when the Suns themselves gave up Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson, Jay Crowder, and control of 5 first-round picks for KD 2 years ago. The return this time around will be solid, but it won't be franchise-changing, meaning the Suns will still be a mediocre team at best without the roster-building avenues to significantly improve around Booker. The only option left is to explore deals for Booker. I get how counterintuitive that sounds. Booker's still in his prime, has multiple years of team control left, and the whole point of an impending Suns rebuild would be to find a player they can only hope is as good as Booker. But unless Book wants to waste a few more years until Phoenix has cap space, it's time to get realistic. There's no longer a path to building a winner around Booker in the desert. And that's an indictment of the Suns, not him.
You didn't do anything. It's not you, it's me.
Some have defended team owner Matt Ishbia for at least trying to win at all costs. But trading for Beal a couple years ago showed he has no idea how to actually build a winner, let alone how to build one in an apron world. And his comments in the years since have only reinforced how out of touch he is. The obvious team Phoenix should engage with is Houston, as within the Rockets' boatload of picks lie multiple Suns picks. We know how starved Houston is for half-court creation, and how a shot-making star like Booker could complete the Rockets' championship puzzle. So you'd have to imagine they'd pay up. Sending Booker to H-Town would see the Suns regain control of some of their own draft capital, which would be essential in a rebuild, and walk away with at least a good young player or two. Would any of those pieces turn into a future star of Booker's caliber? Probably not. But such is the corner the Suns have backed themselves into. There are no good options. This is somehow just the most sensible one.
Thanks for watching. If you liked this video and want to see more content like this, be sure to hit that subscribe button.